So this video is an introduction into random and processing. What random is random allows you to pick a random number based off of some constraints you give. So if you're ever in a situation where you want random numbers, you would use this built-in variable. So random is a float because the range of values can be a decimal point. So to use random, you would type float and the name of your variable. So I'm going to call my variable x, and you would set it to a random number by typing in random, and it highlights up in blue. And in these parentheses, you put a range of values. So okay, I want a random number between 0 and 10. And when the program starts, processing will automatically give you a random number between 0 and 10. To demonstrate this, let's use the example of a background color. So in my setup, I'm gonna make it full screen, and I'm going to create three variables: variable R, variable G, and variable B, and all of them are floats. And in setup, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, okay, R is gonna equal a random number from 0 to 255. G is gonna equal a random number from 0 to 255. And finally, B is going to also equal a random number from 0 to 255. And in doing so, I'm now going to set my background color to whatever R, G, and B are. So when I hit play, I'm going to get a random background color. So when I hit escape and start the program again, it's going to pick random values for R, G, and B and assign them in these different locations to give me different background colors every time I hit play, which is pretty cool. I can also use the draw function, because remember, draw loops through your code 60 times a second to make a background that constantly changes color. And how I can do that is, instead of putting all of this in the setup function, I can move all of it into the draw function. So the first time the function goes through the draw function, it's going to set R to a random number from 0 through 255. And it's going to do the same thing for G and B. And based off of whatever values it comes up with in its first cycle, I'm going to put that in as my background colors. So every time it cycles through each of these lines of code and goes back up, the values of R, G, and B will constantly change 60 times a second. So when I hit play, my background constantly changes colors, and I'm not going to keep that on for too long because it is a bit hard to see. But essentially, that is a visual application of how you could use random inside of processing.